The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain Romance Simplified English Series Read by Pongsakorn Chantet Chapter 15 Back from the Dead. But there was no joyfulness in the village that Saturday afternoon. The Harper and Polly's family were overcome with grief, and usual quiet possessed the village. The villagers talked little, but they sighed often. The Saturday's holiday seemed a burden to the children. They were not interested in their sports and gradually gave them up. In the afternoon, Becky Thatcher found herself wondering about the deserted schoolyard and feeling very unhappy, but she saw nothing there to comfort her. Presently, she stopped and said to herself, "He was just here. Oh, if he were to do it again, I wouldn't say that he was very smart. He wouldn't say that for the world. But he's gone now. And I will never see him anymore." This thought made her burst into tears, and she walked slowly away. Then a group of boys and girls, Tom's and Joe's playmates, come by and stood looking over the fence and talking in respectful tones of how Tom did so and so the last time they saw him, and how Joseph did and that. When the Sunday school hour was finished the next morning, the church bells began to ring very slowly and solemnly, instead of ringing in their usual way. The villagers began to gather, staying a moment in the entrance of the church to converse in whispers about the said event. None could remember when the little church has been so full before. There was finally a waiting porch, and then Aunt Polly entered with Sid and Mary, followed by the Harper family, all the deep black. The villagers and the old minister as well rose respectfully and stood until the mourners were seated in front. The minister prayed, and a moving scare song was sung. As the service proceeded, the minister drew such pictures of the charming ways and the rare promise of the lost children that very soul there. Thinking that he recognized these pictures, Phyllis said, in remembering that he had only seen fault in the poor boys. The minister described some good deeds in the life of the departed which show their sweet, generous natures. The villagers became more and more moved as the sad tale went on, till at last there was not a dry eye in the whole church. Among the unused seats upstairs, there was a slight noise which nobody noticed. A moment later, the church door creaked. The minister raised his streaming eyes above his handkerchief and stood as if turned to stone, gazing in the direction of the door. All turned round, rose to their feet, and started If they could not believe their eyes, why the three dead boys came marching up the middle of the church, Tom leading Joe's Nick and Huck's lad. They had been hidden upstairs, listening to their own funeral service. Aunt Polly, Mary, and the Harpers threw themselves upon their recovered ones, covered them with kisses, and poured out thanksgivings, while poor Huck stood ashamed and uncomfortable in his rags, not knowing what to do or where to hide from so many unfriendly eyes. He started to creep away, but Tom seized him and said, "Aunt Polly, it isn't fair. Somebody must be glad to see Huck." And so they told, "I am glad to see him, poor motherless boy." And the loving attention which Aunt Polly showed upon him made him more uncomfortable than he was before. Suddenly the minister shouted at the top of his voice, "Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Sing, and put your heart into it." And they did, while the grand old song shook the roof. Tom Sawyer the pirate looked around upon the inviting children about him, and confessed in his heart that this was the proudest moment of his life.